Hey, what's up? I'm Jacob Kaufman, and I'm the Nerd on the Street. So, here today, not really here yet, but Apple made some very exciting updates. And since I didn't cover Apple's updates last time, I will be covering the updates this time. Unfortunately, I still really need a second screen, because even if I wanted to move this big monitor all the way over here, it's still a CRT, so it wouldn't have mattered. Also, I know I have a different camera angle. That was partially because I was trying to get the CRT in the shot before I realized that was not possible. It's also because I'm using a GorillaPod on top of another CRT that's right underneath the GorillaPod that the camera you're watching from is sitting on. So yeah, different camera angle. I mean, if I can, try and untilt it a little. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, today I'm going to be talking about Apple's updates. I'm just going to jump right in here, a whole 2 minutes into the video. Apple released a number of things. Some of them are quite comical by my standards. The biggest thing, and I'll put screenshots here, or pictures or something, is the iPad mini. I've got to say, I am really excited that they released this. I'm kind of conflicted though. Let me tell you about the iPad mini here. The iPad mini, and I tried to look over this a little bit before I was on camera, so hopefully I'm not too bad with my camera skills here. The iPad mini, every inch an iPad is what their little slogan thing. It is a 7.9 inch display. I'm just going to call it an 8-inch display to, be able to better contrast this from the 7-inch displays of other smaller tablets. So it's got an 8-inch display, 2 inches smaller than the iPad, and 4 inches bigger than the new iPod Touch. So people are saying this is nothing but a big iPod Touch. But really it's closer to an iPad than an iPod Touch. So you can't be talking there. It is, yeah, it looks great. It's about as thick as a standard pencil. The back does change, they've got black. iPad has a black back. White iPad has the silver back. Rather than the full iPads, so far they've only had white, or the silver backs, even if you got the black model. So yeah, 8-inch display. The display is not Retina, and it's funny, because in their video they say it has the same resolution as the iPad 2. The iPad 2 was the iPad before the Retina display. So, you are getting a very good display because it was on the iPad 2, and the iPad 2 did not look bad at all. And also, it looks even better because it's shrunken down, same amount of pixels, more pixels per inch. But yeah, it is not a Retina display yet. That is likely because I have no idea why it's because, actually. Same resolution as the iPad 2, greater pixels per inch. Don't think it's the same quality as the iPad 2, it's just the same resolution. Better quality. Because it's more pixels per inch, once again. Yep, over 275,000 apps. Because every app that is made for the iPad runs on this. It can run iPhone apps just like the iPad can, but it is not made for iPhone apps. It's made for iPad apps. It's not a scaled-up iPod, it's a scaled-down iPad, once again. Ultra-fast wireless. It's got faster Wi-Fi and cellular, just like the iPad 3rd generation did. So yeah, those are a few of the main things. The big thing is, yeah, it is 8-inch display. So if you prefer the smaller displays, which I wish somebody would come out with a 14-inch tablet, then I wouldn't care how much it cost. I'd save up for that and get it. But if you prefer the smaller tablets, like some people would prefer, say, a tablet this size. This isn't really a tablet, it's a Nook Color. The Reader's tablet, which this isn't even up to date anymore. But if you prefer smaller screens, then yeah, this is definitely something that you would want to look into. If you prefer bigger screens, it's probably not. Another reason why you may want to get this, it is cheaper. Not way too much cheaper. It is $330. That's $30 more than the iPod Touch. Why are they priced the same if this one's so much bigger? Well, they're for different people. If you want something you can carry around in your pocket and use as a phone without the cellular network, you want an iPod Touch. If you want something that's like a tablet, then you'd want to go for this. A5 chip. I thought it was an A5X chip, but it's just A5 chip. Yeah, 10-hour battery life. And it's actually the thinnest one-cell battery they've made, apparently. So, you got your 720p front-facing camera and 1080p back-facing camera. You know, yeah, you got your FaceTime camera in the front, eyesight camera in the back, which I don't get why you can't have a good thing in the front, but aside from my opinions, Siri. This has Siri. I was looking through here like I would not get this because it's no different than my current 4th generation iPod. This has Siri. Siri. Not a lot to say, but it's got Siri. So that's a good thing. So, yeah, iOS, iCloud, AirPlay, all the same things, everything else. They did make a smaller smart cover. Sorry if I'm out of the frame. I'm trying to read, and, yeah. They made a smaller smart cover, and this one does not have a metal hinge. The entire thing is the color that you pick it out to be. If you don't know what I'm talking about, sorry. Drop me a comment. I'll address it in the next channel update if you have questions about anything I say in any of my videos. Lightning connector. People are saying this is a ripoff because you have to buy new stuff. I already addressed that in another video, I think. You have to buy new stuff for docks, not for anything that plugs in. But yeah, and also, if you don't change anything, you're never going to make progress. Yeah, I did address that in another video. Okay, good. Lightning, that's good. And almost done with the iPad mini here. We're only up to 10 minutes, that's pretty good, for me. They got white front with silver back and black front with slate back. It's black. I mean, dark gray. Yeah. Now, this is wider than you would expect it to be. I'll have a picture. But, you know, normally it would be, like, portrait. Instead of making it taller, they made it a tiny bit taller and then quite a bit wider than you would expect it to be. So, yeah. Yeah, talking about the camera and some economics, no, you know, the environmental stuff. So yeah, iPad mini, $330, 8-inch screen, all the same packages as with the bigger iPad. Speaking of the bigger iPad, I could not believe this. Apple, you're getting a little hasty. Just a smidge. 4th generation iPad. That's right. Apple released today a 4th generation iPad. Didn't they just release the 3rd generation iPad like a couple of months ago? Okay, so maybe not a couple of months ago. I think it was last April, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 months between one iPad and another iPad. That's 6 months less than they usually have between them. So yeah, and you know what, they're not going to call it the 4th generation, they just call it with Retina display, but it is 4th generation, under technical listing. So yeah, like if you, under support, you know, on their support page, 3rd generation, no longer the newest thing. Sorry guys. Yeah, so 4th generation iPad has A6X chip, which is, I think, the same one that's in the iPhone now. Also, faster wireless. Not a whole lot new. People were saying that they wanted they were going to wait for the true iPad 5th generation because people were saying this wasn't a true generation update, which, you know, I've got to agree with. I mean, maybe bigger battery life, maybe larger battery life, I don't know. So yeah. Now, some other stuff. MacBook Pro with 13-inch Retina display. So if you remember earlier in the year, I freaked out because they took the 17-inch MacBook Pro off the market. And so now, the MacBook Pro, before they had 13-inch normal, 15-inch normal, and 15-inch Retina. I believe now they just have 13 and 15-inch models of... Oh, no, they still got normal ones. So they have normal 13-inch and 15-inch, and by normal I mean, you know, traditional stuff. Regular screen, physical hard drive, you know, all of that stuff opens up. Whereas the MacBook Pro with Retina display, which is now also available in 13 and 15-inch, has not solid-state drive, but solid-state storage, flash storage. It's not really a drive because you can't really take it in and out. It's proprietary. And, yeah, you can't really open those. But, yeah, it's exactly like when they did the 15-inch Retina display, except now they have one for 13-inch. So, yeah. And also, is the iPhone 5 new news? You know, I didn't talk about the iPhone 5 in my last Apple video, so I'm going to talk about that last here. Alright, the new iMac. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It's ridicule-less. I don't... Whatever, words. I'm not sure I would even... you'll have a picture of it somewhere here by now. I don't know how fine-tuned OpenShot lets me put pictures. So for all I know, then my entire frame could be going away when I'm doing pictures, but I don't know. But this thing, the new iMac, 5mm thin. The display, the entire thing, including the chin on the bottom, you know, 5mm thin. Now, unfortunately, there's not one picture of the iMac on their website of the back of the iMac. So I'm wondering, does it taper? I think it tapers. But, I mean, if it doesn't, 5mm, how did they do that? Like, I had a hard time understanding how they made the MacBook Air. And now they made a 5mm computer. Not one component is more than 5mm, if I'm getting this correctly. Once again, I don't know if it's tapered or what. Aren't USB ports more than 5mm? Actually, there's one picture of the back, and it looks like everything is pointing down. So I'm guessing that that is tapered. Oh, I don't see any good pictures. However, the evolution of iMac. You know, where it lists every iMac side, like, view. And they've got all the way from 1998 all the way to today. Yeah, that thing is tapered. Alright, that is such a misnomer. Don't be fooled by the new iMac. It's actually just about as thick as the last one. It's just tapered now. And they make it look like in all of their pictures it's only 5mm. That was a disappointment. I just found that now. I'll put that in the video. Yeah, it might be a little thinner than the last one, but yeah. No optical drive in this one either. So no optical drive. 75% less reflection, apparently. And LCD is closer to the glass, and LED backlit, of course. And in-plane switching. Intel Core i5 and i7, which is to be expected, right? NVIDIA graphics. They go back and forth between NVIDIA and Radeon. Oh my god, advanced you could have a 3 terabyte hard drive. That's pretty good. A 768 gigabyte flash storage. Alright, that might not be all in one drive, but that's a lot for solid state, right? Now, I was excited about this. Fusion drive. Now, I was excited about this, but I was also, The Fusion drive is basically a storage drive that consists of both a mechanical portion and a solid state portion. And basically what it does is things that you use more often, it automatically detects that you use those things more often. And this is anything. This can be OS files. It can be applications, entire applications. It can be files. It's cool that it's not just limited to one thing, but it's any file at all on the entire hard drive that you access often. It moves to the solid state portion, and things that you use less often are stored on the hard drive portion. And those two things work together like one drive. I think that's really cool. However, I've got a computer here with like 8 hard drive bays. I bet you I could, I mean, I know I wouldn't be running Mac, but I could install an operating system, preferably Linux, and I could have a solid state drive and a hard drive and have it automatically move things that I use often to the solid state drive. I could do that, so it's not like this is a completely revolutionary thing, but it's pretty neat. Am I really? Oh, I thought that said 48 minutes. I'm like, whoa, not editing this, but it's only 18 minutes, so we're good to go. So yeah, nothing completely new, but it's nice that they put it all into one drive. It's, you know, it's nice. I don't know what else to really say there. Now, what would be really cool was if they had one drive that was exactly like that, except instead of most often and least often used, it was everything on the solid state drive and everything on the hard drive, so you had 2 copies on 2 different kinds of media all the time. There's an idea. Need to patent that quick. So you get 1 headphone slot, no microphone slot. Why? You get 1 SDXC card slot on the back now, whereas it used to be by the optical drive, but oh look, they took that away too. You get 4 USB 3.0 ports. At least they gave us USB 3.0. I love USB 3.0. You don't know how much faster it is. 2 Thunderbolt ports. I don't know how much faster that is because I don't own a Mac yet. My next computer will be a Mac, but it'll be a while. And gigabit Ethernet. What else? Are we going to have 512 megabyte Ethernet? No. And then, of course, your standard 3-prong. Yeah, all of those are tilted downwards, so I'm thinking this thing is heavily tapered. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to record inside the Apple Store. That'll be fun, won't it? I hear that the Apple Store will let you record inside the store, but the Microsoft Store will not, so I'm going to test that out. Okay, so yeah. And, of course, we have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You have 2 microphones, high fidelity sound, which I don't get how it can be so good sound if it's 5 millimeters. But, and 720p FaceTime HD camera. 720p? Really? I mean, I know it's a desktop consumer thing, but still, you'd think they could put in an eyesight there. Now, please, excuse me if I seem like I have been biased towards Apple when talking about the iMac today, but I am not exactly, with the revolution. I like my keyboard. I'm even using a wired keyboard. Not even using a wireless keyboard, so I can't lift it up any higher than this, but I like my keyboard. I like my mouse. I don't like the touchscreen. I love trackpads. Don't get me wrong. Trackpads, cool. Joysticks, like those little things, you know, between the 2 keys on the keyboard, cool. But I'm not up to speed with the whole touchscreen thing. I like them. They're fun. I prefer to use mouse and keyboard on a day-to-day basis. Also, I'm not up to speed with the whole no I/O thing, because, believe me, I love the cloud. Everything that I save on my computer is automatically copied to the cloud, but it's copied to the cloud. I want the ability to save to my computer. I want the ability to save to an external hard drive. I want the ability to save to a CD-ROM if I want to, which I know, right? CD-ROM? Really? But I want the ability to. That's just the ability to. I'm not saying I'm going to even use it, but it would make me feel that much more powerful as a consumer if I had the ability to write to whatever kind of media I wanted to. But yeah, no, loving iCloud, loving Google Cloud too. I'm loving all the clouds. There are lots of clouds. Magic Mouse, Magic Trackpad. OS X Mountain Lion. I wish I could tell you that I loved it, but I don't have it. I gotta get a Mac, but it's gonna take me forever. And they bumped both those prices up by $100. So 21.5 inch now starts at $1,300, and 27 inch now starts at $1,800. Those are both $100 more than they used to be. We're doing pretty good on time. 22 minutes. I am sorry. I got a haircut today, if you couldn't tell. And hair's falling into my eyes, and it's hurting me. Okay, so, also new, the Mac Mini. Mac Mini, way more power, way same size, so they're really emphasizing the same size. I'm just messing with you, Apple. And way more, now up to twice as fast. So, I didn't take way close look for this. Same size, 7.7 inches square and 1.4 inches thin. I think this is awesome. Like, I wouldn't want it because it's not quite powerful enough for what I would prefer, but it's pretty neat. Just that, you know, I've got a big tower. Actually, I've got a big desktop right there, and this thing is at least 200 times as powerful as the big desktop that's sitting underneath the CRT, that's sitting underneath the tripod that camera that you're looking at me from is sitting on. So yeah. Ultra fast, of course. Oh my gosh. They've got a picture of the Thunderbolt display, and it just looks so thick after looking at that iMac for a little bit. I think they might have made that thinner too, though. I don't know, though. Maybe not. And, of course, OS X Mountain Lion. So, yeah, starting at $600 still. You know, I used to think that they started at $500, and then I saw that they started at $600. I'm like, oh, I must have been wrong the whole time. Turns out they used to start at $500, but now they start at $600. So, yeah. Processors. You can get a 2.5 gigahertz dual-core i5 or a 2.6 quad-core i7. So yeah, Mac Mini server starts at 1,000. Mac Mini for normal people starts at 600. And yeah, if you're gonna get the Mac Mini server, I recommend just upgrading your Mac Mini to server standards. So yeah. Finally, did they do anything to the MacBook Air? I don't think they did anything to the MacBook Air. If they did, sorry, MacBook Air. Oh, they added USB 3.0 and Thunderbolt. That's my approve face. Alright, let me express my discontent with one thing before I move on to the iPhone and we wrap this up. The Mac Pro. They didn't update the Mac Pro. I was hoping they'd update the Mac Pro. A lot of people were hoping they'd update the Mac Pro. Now, was I planning on going out and getting one of these within the next year? No. There are some people who I follow who were. Alarm's going off. I never figured out how to turn this off. I got a new watch. Don't know how to turn the old one's alarm off. The Mac Pro. I follow some people who are seriously, like, about to go out and get a new iMac if they updated it. I was not, but I still would have liked to see a new iMac because they are using the Nihilm processors, the ones that started with N that I can't pronounce. And the 2010 refresh added the Westmere processors. I can pronounce that one. Now, I used to think this was really good, and it is pretty good, but then I go to HP's website, look at their workstations, they're $500 cheaper, and they have Sandy Bridge processors. Dell's workstations, $400 cheaper, they have Ivy Bridge processors. I'm not saying that the label is everything, because I know a lot of things in the Mac Mini are still better than Dell's workstations, still better than HP's workstations. I'm just saying they're getting outdated, badly outdated. There's not even USB 3.0. Like, seriously. Anything else? Oh yeah, the iPhone. The iPhone 5, I would like to apologize for not talking about that when it happened, but, you know, I had one of those things where I didn't make the video, and it was too late to make the video, and then I never made the video. Sorry. Here's what happened with the iPhone. 4-inch Retina display. They did not make it any wider, they made it just taller, which looks kind of funny, but I imagine it feels good in your hand. I haven't gotten a chance to try it out yet. Lightning I/O, good thing, like I said, already addressed that. A6 chip, good. iSight camera, very good camera, I hear. And iOS 6. And the earpods that Apple released, I will hopefully be, like, checking out sometime, just with my current iPod. Because I'm big into music, and they look like they might work better than my current iPod headphones. And that starts at $200. So yeah, those were all of the Apple updates today. And yeah, they've updated everything but the Mac Pro, it seems like. It seems like that's what they've been doing for quite a while. But hope you were entertained here. We are just about to break 30 minutes. Hopefully I'll be able to cut it down a few minutes. But if you're watching still, thank you for watching this far. I have a few announcements that I will get to in my other video. Watch my channel update for some other announcements. Check me out at facebook.com/jacobgkau. I said it. I wasn't going to announce that until my channel update, but I own that now, or I own the rights to it. Also, I am jacobgkau on Twitter now. I got a new username rather, and Google Plus, g+.2/jacobgkau. So yeah, I'm Jacob Kaufman. I'm the Nerd on the Street, and these were Apple's updates today. What do you guys think of the iPad Mini? Do you think that it's better value or worse value than the Nexus 7? Remember, the Nexus 7 is not as good hardware, but it's also cheaper. So what do you think? What do you think? Just iPad Mini versus Nexus 7. Let me know in the comment section. Back up your answer. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna go now. Apple's updates today, very exciting. Yeah. See ya.